Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Wizard Guy video. I'm very excited to be making my first real video for this channel, and I hope you guys are ready to watch. I already had this idea before I even made my introduction video. I was very interested in learning about frequency. Now, that's not frequency as in the rate at which something occurs or is repeated over a particular period of time. The frequency that I'm referring to is the rate at which vibration occurs that constitutes a wave. More specifically, I was interested in learning about how different vibrational frequencies affect the brain. So a little backstory on this topic. About a year ago, I found this influencer that I enjoyed and I began watching their content. This influencer in particular made videos about declassified CIA documents and other things of that nature. Now, one day while I was watching a video, the influencer began to explain something called the gateway tapes. I was super interested in the gateway tapes because I'd never heard of them before. Now, what these gateway tapes are is they are a series of audio recordings used by a CIA-funded program called the Gateway Process. Essentially, what these tapes are is binaural audio tracks playing specific sound frequencies. There were multiple goals of this so-called gateway process. One of them was simply to have an out-of-body experience or to explore an alternate dimension. The other was something called remote viewing, which is a technique in which one person can see an event happening with them or without them actually being there. Now, obviously, it makes sense why the CIA would want this, being an intelligence agency. Think about how many lives would be saved if we were able to get evidence without physically being there. Anyways, when I was watching this influencer, I took immediate interest in these gateway tapes, and I decided to try them out myself. Keep in mind, this is around a year ago, and I was still new to stuff like this. I hadn't had much experience with really anything involving frequency up until I saw this guy's videos. While trying these tapes myself, I didn't report anything happening. And so I just thought it didn't work for me. I thought simply maybe I couldn't have an out-of-body experience, or maybe my brain wasn't right for it. Skip forward to about a week ago, and I see that this previously mentioned influencer has made his own version of these gateway tapes called Septisync. Now, instead of having two different audio tracks playing different frequencies, Septisync has 7 layered audio tracks playing frequencies. I thought that this was really interesting, and I had been wanting to get back into this, so I thought, why not spend the $10 and try these tapes out? Before listening to any of the tapes, I was super excited about what I could experience while listening to them. I had no idea what I could expect until I actually tried it, but regardless, I was still excited. I should clarify as well that there are 8 of these tapes lasting a total of 4 hours and 5 minutes. Anyways, after purchasing the tape, I decided that I would try at least one of them that same night, and so that's what I did. Now, that first experience that I had was absolutely amazing. I didn't have an out-of-body experience or anything like that, but my body felt more relaxed than it ever has. And I mean that seriously. Like, it felt as though my body was fully asleep, but my mind was awake. I will say that although I didn't have an out-of-body experience, it felt like I was getting close to that point. There were times when I felt this feeling that I can only describe as it felt as though my entire body from head to toe was sort of moving to the top of my skin. Like, I know that sounds unbelievable, and it sounds like I'm trying to get you to think that I'm having an out-of-body experience, but I'm serious. I have never felt that way before, and I had that feeling a couple times while I was listening to the first tape. So, to say the least, after that first tape, I was absolutely excited to try more. The next time I tried a tape, I decided I was going to try all of them, all the way through. Now, looking back on it, that probably wasn't the best idea. not because of any huge negative effects that I had after completing the tapes, but I contacted the influencer and told him that I did all the tapes, all 8 tapes in one day. And he explained to me that he couldn't even do all 8 tapes in one day, even if he tried. So that sort of had me feeling slightly negative about doing all of them at once, but it also had me feeling sort of proud of myself that I was essentially able to meditate for 4 hours straight. It made me feel super good that I had the mental fortitude to do that. So anyways, let's get into that experience. So since I did them all the way through, I don't have like specific memories from specific tapes of like when something happened, but I do have just memories of the experience in general. So I had lots of visuals throughout this process. And they weren't super intense visuals, but throughout the entire process, I reported seeing visuals and things of that nature. Nothing evil or anything like that. They were all good, happy. But yeah. One of the things in each tape that they do is they have you envision a rope through your chest and they have you grab onto that rope and pull yourself up, essentially. They're trying to get you to pull yourself out of your own body, if that makes sense, in order to have an out-of-body experience. On one of the tapes, I reported not seeing a rope, and instead of me climbing a rope, I was scaling a giant pink wall for some reason, which I just thought was funny and interesting, how my mind decided to do that. But anyways, another super interesting and cool things about this whole Septisync thing is that people with aphantasia, or the inability to visualize things in their mind, have reported seeing things in their mind using Septisync. Now I got this information from the influencer and from his reviews of the process, and I just thought that was awesome. I just thought it was interesting that something as simple as playing a different frequency in each ear could have such a profound effect on people. I think that this really could help people. Like, if you have aphantasia and you want to see things in your mind, do this. This is a great experience, and especially if you've never experienced imagining things, Throughout the experience, I felt that same level of body relaxation that I did the first time. I didn't have any feelings of... I never had that feeling where I was going to break through like I did in the first tape when I was listening to that the first time. But after talking to the influencer, again, he explained to me that this is like a muscle that you have to build. You have to just keep doing this and doing this and doing it if you really want to have an out-of-body experience or something of that nature. After going through the full 4 hours, I still heard the frequencies for a couple of minutes after, which didn't scare me. It made sense because I just had 4 hours of frequencies playing in my brain for 4 hours. So I'd imagine there'd be some leftover effects. But other than that, my brain just felt overall tired. Despite feeling super tired and out of it, I felt this level of clarity that I had never felt before. I took a walk with my girlfriend and her dogs, and I just remember looking at everything. I felt as though I was able to really take things in, and not only that, but to really appreciate them. I know all of this sounds sort of untrue and hard to believe, but I'm a skeptical person, and realistically, that's why I wanted to try this. I tried the gateway tapes, and I had nothing happen, so I assumed that all of that stuff was either meaningless or untrue, or that it just didn't work for me. After trying Septisync, I learned that that's not true, and it has made me super excited to continue this. I'm looking at it as sort of a meditative process. I'm not necessarily looking to have an out-of-body experience every time I go into one of these tapes, but I'm doing it just to clear my mind and to feel better overall. And it's working. Once again, after going through these tapes, it has totally excited me to continue to build that brain muscle. And I'm going to continue to try these tapes, at least one a day. And I will continue to report to you guys what happens. Just so you guys know, I have linked the website where you can buy Septisync in the description of this video, as well as the influencers channel link. Just so you know, Septisync is only $10 to purchase, so it's very affordable. That's why I personally purchased it. And yeah, I hope you guys all have a great day. And if you decide to try out Septisync, leave a comment and tell me if you did. So yeah, have a great one.